Hello everyone, how are we all? Hope you're safe and well. Paul79 here. Still getting over my COVID, but I feel a lot better now. It's Sunday morning. So yeah, I'm hoping to do a test about lunchtime, and hopefully it comes up negative, and then I can take my daughter to some table tennis practice because she's getting into that. So that's good. Did a bit of car work yesterday. Did a little video on making the wheel center trims, and I also did some stuff up the back. Nothing too strenuous. In fact, I started it and then I felt a bit tired and I went for a kip for 2 hours, and then I walked the dogs, and then I did a little bit afterwards because my bolts turned up in the post. So yeah, did a couple of bits, so I'll show you that sort of in a later video, sort of a part 2 on that one. But then I was also looking, and I started doing some work on the vents that go in the rear wings, right? And wasn't too strenuous, and I'd sort of done work on them before, but they weren't fitting quite right. And then I had an ingenious idea, and I've made them fit really nice. So I just wanted to sort of talk about all of these things on these vents, because I do them in a sort of a different way as well. So what we're talking about is these are like the side scoops that go in the wings, the rear wings. Now they're molded off real ones, and like I said, I do them slightly differently. So when you get these, right, it's more like a cup, and basically there'd be a sort of a fiberglass sort of bowl attached to this bit here, so it's a lot more sort of, well, it's bigger than this to start with. Now the problem I've found with it is because they're molded off real ones, right, they're designed to get air in the side and then put it into the engine, which on obviously the real RS, it's in the boot, in the right at the back. But these boxers are obviously mid-engined. So what I like to do, and basically on the standard one, because it comes down here and goes like that, the actual sort of holes that let the air through are right at the bottom of this bit here, and they're just sort of holes drilled in the fiberglass. What I like to do is actually make the hole bigger like this, and what it is I'll come a bit closer, but when you get this, and it'll be so much obvious when you've actually got the thing in your hand, right, there will be a line where I've cut this hole, where this hole is, where I'm running my finger around, there'll be a line, and then there'll obviously be more fiberglass. So what I do is I literally cut it all out to the line like that to create this much bigger hole, right? And then what I do, and I'll show you afterwards, is, you know, I just make a grill for it, you know, similar sort of stuff that we use all over the car. I make a grill for it, and then I basically bend the grill over the edge, bond it in like that, and then this just fits into the car. All right, so what I'll do is let me go around the car and I'll sort of show you what I'm actually talking about. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, these vents here. Now the real GT3 RS has them, and so do if your 911 is a turbo, it has the side vents, but the GT3 does not. So when you get your kit, this hole will be filled in, right? It will just be a flat sort of piece of fiberglass. So you need to cut that out, but you need to be a bit careful. You don't want to cut away too much. If you actually see this line here, right, that's actually where the vent sits, right? Here's the vent, like that. So that's what covers it, yeah? So don't completely cut it all away, because you want to have some fiberglass here to actually glue the thing in when the time comes, okay? But yeah, so you want to trim it back. The bigger the hole, the better, in terms of, to a certain extent. Take it slowly but surely to actually create your hole there. In terms of this vent, or this scoop, let's call it. This is the other one. I was showing you over there, I was showing you the passenger side. This is the driver's side. Now, yep, I've cut away that big hole, so I'm going to mesh that up, and I'll show you how we make the mesh. But a couple of things to sort of bear in mind, right? This is molded out of you know, out of fiberglass, and it can be quite thick in places. And what I've had to do is I've used the old power file to sort of file down, let's put that up there, to file down, you know, and smooth and reduce the sort of the bumps and imperfections that come from the fiberglass mold, so this bit can sit as flush as possible into here, right? So what we've got here is, you can see now it's getting there. Now I've found on all of these and all the 3 that I've done, they never fit perfectly. It's probably best bet is to wait until your kit's on, because this bit can move ever so slightly when you're fitting it. So it's better to get the hole cut in this wing part roughly, and then once your kit's on and all that, you can start focusing on making these fit how they should do. Now, I'd basically, up until yesterday, I'd roughly fitted them, right? And they weren't fitting perfectly. They never seemed to do, unfortunately. And there was a bit sticking out at the bottom here. It wasn't completely flush with the rest of the car. Now, on the white one out the front, they really don't fit that well at all. And what I had to do, and I thought the body shop would be able to make them good. In the end, they just painted them, you know, made them look nice, but they didn't do any sort of adjustments to try and make them fit, which is fair enough because they had enough to do. But this time around, and what I did when I stuck them on the white car, because I had sort of gaps here, I filled the gap with the black stuff so it looked like a seal. But this time around, what I'm going to try and do is make it fit a lot better and a lot more flush. And then I suddenly had the ingenious, as of yesterday, I had the ingenious idea of actually trying to heat them up slightly to make them fit better. So that's what I've been doing. So I've got a heat gun there, and what I was doing was, it's a lot trial and error, and it's very sort of slow. But yeah, you sort of heat up a section of it and then put it in place and then push it up against the bodywork and let it cool, and it will then eventually mold perfectly to what you want. Now, I still need to finish this bottom bit, but the annoying thing is I get bored of sitting there holding it while it cools, right? Now, I was doing a lot of this yesterday and I had the football on the telly, but now there's no football on at 11 o'clock in the morning. What I'm going to do is actually going to buy, and I thought about trying to put wood across here to sort of hold it in place while it cooled. Got some wood there. In the end, not the best idea. So what I'm going to do is, you know, those sort of adjustable sort of poles you can get that you put in a wardrobe to make another hanging rail. I'm going to buy some of them with like rubber ends, and that will come in very useful when I do it for real, and when I actually bomb them in. If we go round here and have a look at this side, if I pick this one up, I think I'm pretty happy with this one. This one, oops, sits really nice in here. You know, there is no gap. It's going to look good, I reckon. So yeah, and when I come to sort of fit it, all I'm going to need to do is put thin bit of glue around there, quite a lot of glue there, all the way around there. I would have already properly, oops, my camera keeps going off here. I would have already properly bonded the grill in, and that'll be like that. What I also recommend you do is do this before you get your car painted, but because this hole's a lot bigger now, because you've got to remember the engine is here and not there at the back, because this hole's a lot bigger now, when you got your mesh on you can see through it a bit more than you would do. So paint the inside of your arches black, yeah, so nothing stands out. So that's what I've done on both sides of the car, just to give it a bit more of a factory finish. Here you go, you can see on this one here, it's all black. It's a bit dusty because I was rubbing stuff down, but that's it in effect. So now what I'm going to do is talk about and show you how I make the grille. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make a template of the hole, right? So I've always got plenty of used San Miguel boxes about, so I've put it on there, and oh, is that wrong way? No, it's that way. You create a template. Oh, it's like that, wasn't it? Yeah, had the cardboard. That's how I had the cardboard, right? So I had the cardboard that way, and I've drawn around the outer edge, not the inner circle, not the inner hole, the outer circle, right? Create my template. So what I'm going to do now is cut that out, and then get some mesh and start cutting that out. Right, so I've got my piece of mesh. I've got loads of it knocking about, but yeah, you don't really need much. But one thing I think I should tell you is, don't just plonk your thing on there and draw your shape and all that. If you really want to be anal like me, what you might try and do is line up the mesh, because it does go in sort of straight lines like that with your vent. So what I've done is, if I put the vent in, right, you imagine you're bending down looking at it like that. What I've done is, that's the top of the vent obviously, and I put a bit of masking tape on and then sort of drawn a horizontal line. So in an ideal world, what I want it is the mesh to follow that line down like that. Now I know it's very anal, but you know, at least that way then you can get both sides the same as well, if you're really worried about things like that. Not that anyone has ever ever noticed it, but when I was doing the Ferrari ones years ago, the mesh in there was much bigger holes, so it was more obvious if the mesh wasn't lined up straight and it looked a bit strange. But yeah, the mesh we use on here is so fine anyway, you're probably not going to notice, but you know, hey ho, I've thought about it now, so that's what I'm going to do. So, oh my knees. We come back to this mesh, right? If we put a ruler along here and sort of line it up straight along one of the lines, and then put this on here, effectively I want to probably have it, so that's the straight bit there, I want to have it sort of almost straight like that, right? Now, like I said, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, I'm just sort of thinking about it, trying to think further forward. Because if I did it like that, for example, when you look at the car like that, the mesh is sort of all over the place. So that's what I'm going to do there. Right, so what I've done is, in fairness, you probably didn't actually need to do the cardboard template, because what I've done is I've marked out, put the old masking tape on here so I can draw my circle, and then I've got my ruler, and ideally I want to try and line that line up with the ruler, something like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw around it and then cut it out with enough to bend around the edges of the fiberglass pod, and then we're nearly there. So there we go, I've cut it out. I'm not going to take that masking tape off just yet, because that will help me sort of start to position this in place when I start sort of bending it round, yeah? Because you can see now I've got my line, the vents, the grill is nearly lined up. When you do all this cutting, wear gloves, right? Because as you cut, this will start bending up and scratch you. Right, so you know, I'm no hand model, but yeah, I don't want to run out of plasters anyway. Right, so there you go, I've sort of made it. This is what it looks like. It fits basically on there. Now, it's always better to have too much metal than trim it off, as opposed to not enough. You need to have, and this is going to be very difficult with one hand, you need to have it so it wraps around the edge to a certain extent, like that. And when we glue this for real, what we'll be doing is be using the old zip ties, you know, with sticks across there to really pull that grill up towards while we let it set. So when I come to do this, which will be probably 2 years time, is I'll be putting glue all the way around the edge of the scoop, and then plopping that on like that, zip tying it, pulling it, and then probably putting glue on top of it, just making sure it doesn't show through on this side. So now if we look at it, imagine that's now glued, that is what it's going to look like that. Now what I might do is I might use some old butyl tape just to show you what it looks like in situ on the car. Let me try that. So there you go. So I've just put some butyl tape on there to sort of hold it in place, just so you get the idea of what's going on. But yeah, so there's your grille, all in there like that. When you stick it for real, you're going to want to try and keep the bit at the top here, because there's not a lot of room to tuck it in. I mean, it fits. I've just tried it on the car, but basically, yeah, I mean, this butyl tape is, look how thick it is. It's like just a thick block of stuff, hence I'm not too worried. But yeah, you want to sort of try it out. You know, imagine when that's stuck for real, that'll be sticker flex. It won't have all of that high butyl tape sort of sitting there. But then we come to the car. I'm just going to pop it in. It actually fits in quite nicely. So there you go, that's done. Let's turn this light on, see if that works. Has that worked? Now that's gone off. Yeah, so there you go. So there's your vent. That's all fitted, sitting quite nicely in there. Quite pleased about that. But yeah, and it's sort of, well, the vent lines up how it lines up sort of thing. But yeah, hope you like that, and I hope that's been informative. So there you go, all done. I'm not going to do the other side just yet because I want to heat it up a bit and get it sitting a little bit better. But I'm pleased how, oh excuse me, I'm pleased how that one turned out. That's another little job ticked off the very long to-do list. But yeah, hope you found that helpful. If you've got any other questions about it, just send me a message on Instagram, blah blah blah. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video, guys. I'm off to go and take my daughter to ping pong now, and then I'll go and watch some football, I think. So it's absolutely peeing it down out there as well, as you can probably hear. So yeah, gonna have a cosy Sunday. Oh, lovely. Anyway, see you later, guys. Take care. Bye.